There's an ancient Greek version of Cinderella where she has a disfiguring tumor, tells the prince, "Don't touch me," saves another prince through cross-dressing, and actually has her boundaries respected. It's wild and amazing, and it's called Of Aspasia. Like many Cinderellas, Aspasia's mother dies in childbirth, and she grows up in poverty with her father. Now, she's not mistreated by a stepmother. Her turmoil comes from this big tumor on her face. Has some modern day America vibes in that her dad takes her to a bunch of doctors, but none of them will treat her because they are poor and can't afford it. But Aspasia, who we are told is good and kind and modest and honest, goes to bed crying one night and has a dream of a dove that turns into a woman and says, "Hey, what you need to do is go get the roses from the garlands of Venus or Aphrodite, crush them into a powder, and put it on your swelling tumor." She follows the instructions and the tumor goes away, and now she is revered not just for being a good person, but being beautiful too. The story goes into detail, so she has yellow hair that curls just a little, great eyes, a hawk nose, short ears, teeth whiter than snow, and beautiful feet. The story emphasizes how she cannot dress well or in the latest fashions because she is poor, but she's beautiful just the same because it shines inside out and because of those ears and feet. Instead of a ball in this story, there is war. The Persians come in and take over her city, and she and the other virgins of the town are taken as concubines to Cyrus the Younger, the leader of the Persians. One night, Cyrus is partying, and 4 of these captured enslaved women are brought to him, and one of them is Aspasia. 3 of them have done what the woman who's in charge of them have told them to do to be pleasing to this man, because he is their owner now, and it makes complete sense to try to please your captor for survival. They're dressed really fancy, their faces are painted, and they're following their instructions to not be coy, to permit him to kiss them and touch them. But Aspasia is different. She refused to dress up in beautiful clothes or paint herself, but not because of modesty, but because she feels like they are symbols of her enslavement. And she's right. Those clothes and behaving that way are a sign of her submitting to bondage. Cyrus is like, "All right, girls, come sit with me." She won't go until an officer forces her to sit with him. And while the other girls let him, kiss and touch them, she screams, she hits him. She's like, "No, if you try to touch me, you will pay." Of course, this is exactly what intrigues Cyrus more. He wants her and is obsessed with her because she's the only one refusing him. He does not try to touch her again and respects her boundaries, but treats her well and with respect, talks to her, won't see any other women, and eventually proves himself to be a person that she likes. So it's always problematic when someone falls in love with someone who at one point was their captor. This ancient text goes out of the way to tell us that a mutual love and a friendship and respect grew between them. And they have an equal, respectful marriage. But that's not the end of the story. Cyrus gets slain in a battle against his own brother, and his brother takes over the kingdom and takes everything that is his, including Aspasia. The girl gets taken captive again. However, he has heard how wise and virtuous she is, so when the other officers try to tie her up, he's like, "No, we're gonna treat her with respect." He also falls deeply in love with her and begs her to marry him, and she's like, "No, I'm grieving for your brother, my husband." He spends years trying to get her favor, but she's like, "No." Understandable. But then the brother, now new king, his name is Artaxerxes, gets super sad because his favorite eunuch, a young youth who he loved deeply, dies, and he cannot get over it. Aspasia feels bad for him, so she goes to try and comfort him, but he's like, "No, go away." And so she gets the idea to dress up in the dead eunuch's clothing and then go comfort him. In this attire, her beauty appeared with greater splendor to the king's eye. I really think he's more into the eunuchs. He's so pleased, he says he wants her to always dress that way, like his young dead lover. Because, of course he was his lover, come on. Thus, she relieved his sorrow and remained basically his right-hand person for the rest of his life. He turned to her for wisdom, for everything running the country, and she never did have to marry him. He let it go. He just respected her as a person, and even though it is weird that he was really into her dressing up like the dead eunuch, it really does symbolize something deeper than that she was willing to do this thing for him, to comfort him. Because apparently she did manage to forgive him however many years after he murdered her husband, who also was her captor at one point. We're talking about the ancient world. This was kind of just how the world went. Like most Cinderellas, Aspasia is beautiful, and her beauty does get her what she wants to a certain degree, but it's really her character and her choices that raise her up out of her circumstances. Shows that dignity and boundaries can command respect even in the most unequal systems. And this was an unequal system. Our girl ends up happy and living a good life, the best she could probably have under all of those circumstances. Maybe the best takeaway is that no matter your circumstance, character can still make a difference.